guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Shaunta Grimes and this is Ninja Writers. Today we're going to talk about editorial planners and why I think that every writer who wants to be a working writer should have one, regardless of the genre or type of writing that you do. So a working writer is a writer who is attempting or is making money and any kind of income stream from their work. So if you're a hobby writer and you don't ever plan on trying to be published, you don't ever plan on trying to make any money whatsoever from your writing, you don't need an editorial calendar probably. Although stay with me because you might find that you are more productive if you have one. But if you are trying to make an income from your writing, whether you want to replace your entire income so that you can be a writer earning enough money to live on, or you just want an income stream to supplement your income, you are a small business owner, you're an entrepreneur, and that means that you need a plan. And this is your plan, an editorial calendar. When you are a writer, even if you are traditionally published, so even if you're being published by magazines or traditional publishers like Penguin or Random House or even small publishers, you still are going to have your own timekeeping system, your own way of keeping track of deadlines. You're going to have some self-imposed deadlines no matter what. It's just the nature of the business. And an editorial calendar is a way to do that. If you are planning on being a freelance writer, a blogger, an indie published fiction or nonfiction book writer, if you plan on sending in short stories to magazines, anything like that, anything short of having a 9-to-5 job working for someone else as a writer. So possibly if you're a newspaper journalist or something along those lines, and this kind of editorial calendar you might not need. You probably will need something more extensive in that case. I've been a newspaper reporter, and yeah, that's a lot of deadlines. But otherwise, just an editorial calendar is important. I hope I've made that clear. This is what I use. It's just called a medium monthly planner. It's a simple month at a glance, undated calendar. You can use anything. I like this because the book itself is relatively small. It's an A5. But the squares are large. And when I fill it out, so here's my March one. When I fill it out, I have empty spots where I can make notes, right? So this whole row, and then whatever days are not filled out with the days of the month. And then the boxes are big enough for me to fill in, my plans, my editorial plan. So I'm going to tell you how I do my editorial planning and create my editorial calendar. And then you can decide what will work best for you. I have a very busy editorial schedule. I have to write blog posts for Ninja Writers. I have to write content classes and that sort of thing for Ninja Writers. And I also have my own writing goals, books that I want to write, novel writing career that I want to nurture. What I do is I write down my projects and goals for the month. In March 2021, as I'm recording this, I have a novel called 312 that I've written. I've sent it to my literary agent. She sent it back to me with revisions, and I need to try to get those edits done for her by the end of this month. I also have a novel that I've written. It's completed. I have bought a cover for it, and I'm going to indie publish it in April. So I need to do my final revision on that and get it to my copyright editor. I also want to publish a nonfiction book, short book, so 10,000 words or so, in March. I have the content for that almost all the way written, so I'm gonna have to do some writing on that. So I have a lot, this month I have a lot of editing projects. Next month I'm gonna have to do some more writing. This month I've done a lot of writing, and now I need on these projects to move forward. I need to do a bunch of editing. So what I've done is, where you see yellow here, I've marked my deadlines. The thing is that I'm my own boss. As a writer, I'm the boss of Shaunta Grimes Writer Inc., right? I am the boss, and that means nobody else is going to hold me accountable, including my agent, right? If I never get back to her with those revisions, she's not going to fire me. And if she does, it's not, the end of the world, because I wasn't writing anyway. I'd have to go find another agent, but and that would suck, because I really love my agent, so I don't want to do that. But I'm not going to lose a job that's a lucrative income stream for me right now, because I don't have a contract for a book right now, and there's no outside pressure, is what I'm saying. No outside pressure to do any of these projects. These are just projects that I want to do, because this is the writing career that I want to have. So I have to set deadlines, and then I have to find a way to take those deadlines seriously, right? To not just let them go because there's not a boss who's going to get angry with me if I don't do those things. So what I've done here in yellow is I've written down my own personal deadline. So I want to finish reading through my second nonfiction book and figure out what else I need to write to add to that by the 10th. On the 20th, I want to have that book done. So whatever else I need to write, I'm going to write in this week here. I'm going to try to get Poet, which is my indie published book, a novel that I want to release in April, to Kristen, who is my copy editor, by the 22nd. And then by the very last day of the month, I want to have 312 to Elizabeth. And I also want to publish this nonfiction book in this week. So I write down my goals, and then what I do is write in, actually I do this in my regular planner sometimes. Sometimes I do it in my, write in my ed, but so you can see, like in February, I wrote down I was going to write fiction this day, blogging, plotting, fiction, and that worked for me. I was really focused on blogging in January, and I wrote down what blog posts I was going to write in January. So depending on what I've got going on, I use my editorial calendar differently. And this is just your calendar, so it doesn't really matter. As long as it works, it works. That's my motto. What I've done this month is added my writing into my B6stology, which is my everyday planner. So you can see I highlighted, I wrote writing, and then I gave myself a time that I'm going to write on this day. This is Wednesday the 10th calendar page or planner page, and then what my actual writing plan is for that day. So what I'm going to work on, and I did that every day for this week. And I'll do it every day. I set up one week at a time in my stology. So I have the whole month at a glance here, so I can see what my deadlines are. And this helps me to plan my writing in my regular daily planner. So I hope that helps. I hope I've convinced you that you really do need an editorial calendar if you are working towards becoming a working writer. This is the difference for me between really wanting to be a writer, really wanting to write those novels, and actually finding the time to write them. I get asked a lot of things, but the question that I get asked the most is how I manage to be so prolific. And the way I manage to be so prolific is that I expect it of myself. There's no easy answer to that. If I would not tell any other boss, like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to finish this nonfiction book by March 20th, I just wasn't feeling it. I got too busy with my kids and my other job, and I just didn't do it. I don't want to. I wasn't, my muse didn't show up, whatever. There's no way I would tell any of that to any other boss. But So why would I do it to myself? I won't. Because I want to have this writing career. I care more about this writing business that I have, that I'm building, than I have ever cared about any other job that I've ever had for anyone else. And that means that I have to care about my own deadlines and my own projects and my own progress more than any other boss has ever cared about my progress or my deadlines or whether or not I'm doing what they want me to do. This matters more to me, so I need to show up for it. And that's what an editorial calendar helps me do. You have a great week. Let me know in the comments if you use an editorial calendar. I'd love to know what works for you. And make sure you hit subscribe, because we have a lot of cool stuff happening here in Ninja Writers, and I would love to have you along for the ride. Bye.